Gentlemen, those of you who are running for alderman, the candidates for mayor set an excellent example. They watched their time limits. They didn't need prompting. They did, in my opinion, a very admirable job. Now, I want to tell you that we don't have the same questions for you that we had for them. So, I know that they address needs that maybe some of you will refer to, but we've tried to direct some other things at your direction. Having said that, it's time for us to have you introduce yourself. Terry Countermine, will you come up to the podium first, please?
Well, I want to, like everyone else, thank you for coming. I think this is an important way to exchange ideas. I believe that when you're voting, whether it's local or state or national, that you should know the person that you're voting for. And with that said, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and why I believe in Jonesboro and why I'm running for alderman. My wife Sandy and I moved here 26 years ago. We relocated from Auburn, Alabama, actually.
Yay!
I've been a school teacher for 50 years, just retired in July. I'm enjoying retirement, which I have found gives me more time to be asked to do things here, which is okay. I've been alderman. I was elected first in the year 2000, so I'm just finishing 16 years. My wife Sandy encouraged me to say, as she reminds me all the time, that this is a job of public servant and not as a politician. So I try to remember that and try to serve the public as best I can. I believe in service and volunteering. I think it's what makes this town what it is and the ability for us to do the many things we have. When I look around and see the number of volunteer people helping to make this a really wonderful town, it does my heart good. I am, as I've said, on the board of mayor and alderman. I'm also on the planning commission. I believe in service. I'm on the Tree and Townscape Committee, the Heritage Alliance Board, the Flag Committee, the Jonesboro Repertory Theater Board, and the Main Street Jonesboro Board. I tell you that because I do believe in giving back. I think it's important as citizens, we have so much that we've been blessed with that it's important that we give back. And I would like to give back for another 4 years. We have some projects that have started that I'd like to see completed. In my spare time, I'm an active member of the Jonesboro United Methodist Church, and I do a little picking and grinning with the Jonesboro Novelty Band. And I'm proud of that because we also try to serve. I care about all the citizens of Jonesboro. I really do, and I think the Jonesboro, the way it is configured with downtown and subdivisions and 11E, we need to work together, and we have. I think the data and the facts show that. And everything that I do, I try to make this little corner of the world a better place. And you have my word that if you vote for me, and I will continue to do that, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Adam, we put you the middle on these particular formats. So, Adam Dixon, will you come up and introduce yourself?
Good evening to everybody. I'm glad to see you all out this evening. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening and to be a candidate on the ballot for a second term. Would appreciate your support. I think Terry gives a pretty good overview as to why we get in this business. You know, we truly enjoy serving people. the idea of giving back, helping somebody, making your community a better place is a noble cause. And I'm very thankful, grateful, feel blessed to have this opportunity. The past 4 years have been very exciting to me. And I have to be very honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I got a phone call 2012. Then Alderman Fitzgerald called me, and I felt it was an honor to get that phone call when he decided at that time he didn't want to run for another term. Of course, was top vote getter and 16 years served. And at that moment, and I'm just being very candid with you, at that particular moment, there was a legacy that had been set up. Ernest McKinney was the first African American elected to the board at the same night Martin King was assassinated. His son served on the board, later became the first African American mayor. Mr. Fitzgerald, Jerome ran, and his father would be so proud. Reverend Fitzgerald would be so proud. And I just can't help but think about the fact that Fred Dixon and Reverend Fitzgerald were close friends. And so when I got the phone call from Jerome that he didn't want to run again, it was a beautiful moment to continue that legacy and to serve on the board. So I've been excited about the opportunity, did as best as I can to serve the citizens of the town of Jonesboro. And I'm eager to serve another term. There's just some neat things that's going on in Tennessee's oldest town that I want to see come to fruition. And I really do believe in that concept of community. And I think that we're better when we are unified than when we are apart. So I'm eager to serve another term and we greatly appreciate your support. Thank you.
Jerome Fitzgerald, will you come up and give your opening?
Adam made me sad. Greetings, everyone. If you told me 4 years ago, 2 years ago, I'd be standing here again, I'd say no way. So I think the biggest thing, to be an alderman, it's a public service job. And I just like to serve. I mean, I like the people, and I like going out in the communities helping. I've always done that. And, I wish there was enough room for everybody. You got 5 people up here jogging for a position, and I think it's great that you got 5 people doing that, and I wish there's enough room for everybody, but it's not. And that's just me. I mean, I like to serve. I'm a people's person, and I love Jonesboro and the people. I'm giving back to what my family taught me and the way they was treated in Jonesboro. And it goes a long way when you're talking to somebody, and you say, well, you done this, you helped me do this, and that's a good feeling. That shows that you appreciate it. The job pays 0. You take a lot of criticism, you take a lot of punches. People talk about you, but I'm fine with that. It's all about Jonesboro. It's all about the people, and that's what you have to learn at a job like this. You got to be able to handle all that, and that's what I like, and that's the reason I'm serving. And and I'm the kind of person, win or lose, hey, I'll be the same person. And I wish these guys well, whoever wins or loses. Thank you.
Gentlemen, if you'll follow the example of the candidates for mayor and pass the microphone back and forth to each other. Yeah, do we have enough? Yeah. If you'll give that to Terry.
Can you still stand up?
Sure, yeah. You're not glued to those seats, so whatever makes you comfortable is fine with me. Many of you, in your opening statements, touched on this, but just specifically so people know, why are you running for the office of alderman in the town of Jonesboro?
Well, as I said in my opening remarks, I love this town and have seen a lot of progress over the last decade or more. There are several projects that I believe in, one being the Jackson Theater, the trails, the McKinney Center. I hope you all saw in the paper today that we got a $500,000 grant to finish the park behind the senior center. As has been said, it takes teamwork, and I have tried to be a good team member, and I think I have. I've been honest and fair, and I would like to see us continue that route and to finish the projects we've started.
For me, I think that serving as an alderman has been a platform. Soon as I got elected, I guess November, December 2012, we started an initiative called the Jonesboro Community Chest, or we resurrected the Jonesboro Community Chest. Had been dormant for years, and we wanted to see a way that we could help folks in Jonesboro proper, but also on the west end of the county that are struggling, in particular areas like Washington College, Limestone, so on and so forth. There are 17 agencies, 501c3 nonprofits that are part of the Johnson City United Way, but only one of those agencies serve folks in Washington County. The other 16 serve Johnson City proper. So to me, running for alderman was a platform to resurrect the Jonesboro Community Chest, to help people on the west end of the county, to let it be known that we do care, neighbors helping neighbors, and we work with United Way. So if you make a donation to United Way, the money passes through, it comes back to the Jonesboro Community Chest, and our goal is to give those dollars back out to churches and different organizations that are out in the county that are serving these people, food pantries and clothes closets and things like along that line. So for me, it's been a platform to address, again, the issues that are near and dear to my heart, again, volunteer service and giving back to the community.
My story starts as an employee here for 14 years in the water department. You know, that was a great opportunity for me to get my feet on the ground and learn about Jonesboro. I took a job in Kingsport. Folks, I was totally homesick. You know, I was totally homesick. I missed the employees. I missed the town environment. So I was thinking one day, you know, I know they probably wouldn't hire me back as an employee, but I want to do something for a town. And I'm thinking, well, in 1996, I decided to run for alderman. And I said, well, you know, that gave me the opportunity to get something back and get myself back involved in town. And I've done that, and I've been very successful doing it. And you know, I've enjoyed it, and it's. You know, what can you say? You know, you set up here, you know, it's just great to serve Jonesboro and the people, and you know, you can go all night saying how great Jonesboro is, how great the people is, and how you like to serve, but it's just a great feeling to be back and be setting up here, and you know, like I said, jockeying for a position, and, you know, see what happens. And like I said, you know, it's just part of me. You know, win or lose, though, I've been beat and won, and I'm still setting up here. I can't figure it out. You know, I check my temperature before I come down here, and I'm normal. So you know, so I'm here. So that's the story right there. Okay.
Good job. The next question is, how do you propose to subsidize the quality of life projects in town? These may not financially be self-sustaining. For example, the Senior Center, the McKinney Center, the Jackson Theater.
That is a good question. I did some research looking at Jonesboro and its growth. In the census in 2000, it was 4,000, a little over 4,000. Today it's almost 6,000. So that's a 40-some% increase. And so certainly those people are living here, buying homes, spending money. Our sales tax revenues have increased by 50-some%. Often it's, especially being living in a historic district, I hear that 11E is neglected. But if you look at where the growth has been in the last decade, we have 25 new businesses out there, all the way from Pizza Plus on one end to the Family Dollar on the other end. Good businesses. They don't come to town unless they've done some research and and decide that this is a good place to be, and they've done that. We have been working hard with the different prospective businesses to come here and have been successful. We've had over 500 permits for new residential housing since 2005. That's 500 new homes, people living here. So there isn't an exodus out of Jonesboro. The data shows that there's been quite a growth, the growth that other towns would very much like to have. And that growth has resulted in sales tax revenues and real estate revenues that help us pay for the quality of life that brings those people to Jonesboro, and it's why they want to live here.
Your Honor, I think Terry hits on it, that with the increase in property tax revenue and the increase in sales tax revenue, it allows the town to do a lot more innovative and creative projects that again enhance the quality of life. And you know, if you look at some of the projects that we've done, for example, the senior center, 1,900 members that make up the senior center, all kinds of activity. If you see when they do a monthly calendar, I mean, it's just full of all different kinds of activities that's going on. Those people appreciate the center, and to the point that I believe just as a value add, members of the senior center wanted to make a membership fee. They wanted to implement a membership fee, pretty much as, again, a value add for the center, because they are appreciative to have a place to go and engage in activities. If you think about the Jackson Theater, not only will you be able to do quality plays and independent films and a certain type of concert, a variety of things that you can do, maybe even like $2 movies and things along this line that will generate revenue. Lastly, if you think about the McKinney Center, you got a facility there that not only has a sentimental component for most of us, being the old Booker T school, but you also got a facility that does things from weddings to various activities as such. So based on that, there is a revenue generator, and there has been some thought as to how these projects can generate positive revenue for the town.
My two colleagues right here, people move here because they like what they see. They like the environment, and they like the facilities that we have. So that's one reason why they do move here. I've always said, you know, when you talk about businesses on Lebanon, you know, Jonesboro don't have anybody that goes out and court businesses to bring business here. You know, that's something that they need to take a look at. If you had somebody, you know, I don't think they do that now, but they did when I was on the board, have people go out and say, you know, do you want to come to Jonesboro? This is what we have to offer. You would see so much increase in revenue if they ever start that. That's something I like. If I ever get elected again, that's something that, you know, I like to take a look at.
The next question is, what do you view as the top priority for the incoming Board of Mayor and Alderman this coming administration?
Good question. Well, I think we have one of the lowest tax rates in the region. We have a tremendous quality of life, and it needs to be a priority to stay within. Let me say this, a lot of people ask me how I am what are my political views. I perceive myself as being socially liberal and fiscally conservative. By that, and I say that because we need to work within our budget to do what we have to do. But I'm a big quality of life person. When I talk to many new people that live to town, that move to town, and ask them why they come. And they come because of the many things, the opportunities they have to get involved. We have so many things. So you don't have to be interested in just one thing or the other. And that's why people move here. And I think we need to preserve what we've had going for the last 8 to 10 years. And that should be, in my opinion, the highest priority.
for me, the biggest priority is community economic development. And you have to place emphasis on the word community economic development. I'm very proud of this board for implementing the Boone Street Market, leading the way to see the Boone Street Market. Karen Childress had a dream and saw that dream come to fruition. And again, put emphasis on community economic development. We could talk all day about, bringing jobs in, and you got to bring a certain type of people in, but there's a certain reality. Jonesboro will not be able to compete with a Johnson City or a Kingsport or a Bristol in attracting jobs. We have to use our assets to move forward. Our assets are us. All right? And so when we come together and when we work together, we can do some really neat things. And the Boone Street Market is one of those things. The Jonesboro Farmers Market is one of those things. And it's local individuals that are coming together that are now, they're making money. We get products. We're awfully happy. I know I'm happy every time I get something good to eat at the Boone Street Market. And so we're able to invest in the local economy. So community-based economic development has to start from the bottom and then work its way up.
People come to Jonesboro because it's, to buy the things from stores and the basic services. They move here for basic services and economic development. And it's just, that's what we are proud of as a town, as a whole, that we can stand around and say, that we have the best, downtown, or we got the best shopping centers. You can go over and eat, you can go over and get pancakes and biscuits and all this kind of stuff, eat ice cream. You watch movies, and that's going to really bring people to Jonesboro as time goes on. Do we need to work on a few things? No, I ain't trying to be on, but when you talk about water and sewer and stuff like that, that's basic services. Okay, we got 12,000 water customers out there right now that's wondering about Jonesboro's water. Now, I think we, as a town, we're doing good. If we don't want to get a black eye, we want to make sure that 12,000 customers are knowing that the town, well, this board right here, but I want to start a public hearing. People come in knowing that their water that they're drinking is safe, and what they're doing, what we're doing, flushing lines at the end of the lines. I was out there 14 years. I know, I'm not trying to brag, but I was out there, and I do know a lot about water and sewer. We want the people to understand, we got guys out there flushing lines, paying attention, testing water. So when you drink it, give it to your kids, take a shower in it, it's clean. And I think we have to do that. We talk about businesses, great, we got the best, we got good businesses, we got good infrastructure, but we have to get that water situation. Now, it's 12,000 customers out there wondering what's happening every day. We need to have a public hearing. People come out, show them how we do it, so there will be ease. Because they pay water bills, sewer bills, and they need to know what's going on. So it's not only outside the county, it's inside Jonesboro too. I hear that where I go, and I'm telling them, if I get in there, what I want to do is fix that problem.
Thank you. The next question. How should further growth of the community be paid for? And do you favor expansion of the town boundaries? In other words, is Jonesboro going to stay a small town, or are we going to get bigger?
Well, another good question. There is a plan that the state gave us that outlines the boundaries that we could go to. And when we make a decision to annex property, at least in the 16 years I've been on the board, it's because someone is developing some land, and the land is more valuable if it's in the town, and we assess whether running sewer and water to that location will pay for itself. I think that one of the things that we should be proud of is currently we have an A- credit rating, which is the highest we've ever had as a town of Jonesboro. Our credit rating is the highest it's ever been in history. So that means that in terms of spending money and being very careful about how much debt we have and what we spend our money on has been successful, because we don't rate ourselves. That's a national rating. And I think it's something to be proud of.
I guess my response would be kind of in line with something I heard a little earlier, and that these are things that as they come you need to look at and explore. The town of Jonesboro, I think is in a great position when we think about the overall condition of the town, the overall situation of the town. I don't think anybody wants to go ripshod and doing things that could be harmful long run to the town infrastructure and town facilities. But again, I do believe that you do have town staff and you do have a town board that would be very thoughtful if I think those urban growth boundaries, if we did want to expand westward, say towards Telford or in that particular direction, that again, things would have to be in place. But I think that is something that would take some deliberation and some thought and some consideration to pursue.
My question of that expansion, is it comes as the years go by. I mean, we have the facilities now, the sewer been updated, and the treatment plant's been updated a little bit to pick up on down the west side of town, and you can't go east, maybe north. Well, you can't go north either, but I think west is probably about the only place you probably could go. But I know they picked up, what I remember, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 1,000, 2,000 water customers in like 3 or 4 years. I was riding down there the other day, and I couldn't believe how much it's grown and what we're supplying. And I was really impressed, because when I was out there, we didn't go no further down there to South Central, and now it goes clean down to Jackson Bridge and down to 107 and all down in there. And I was very, very impressed. So, I'm all for something like that. This really brings revenue back into town, and it really helps with it. We can use that money to expand on as the years go by.
Gentlemen, I told you that we weren't going to repeat questions, but there is one repeat question we have for you. You have been, you are now a public official. In your opinion, what has been your most important accomplishment?
Wow. Well, I think as an alderman, now is that as a town or personally?
Either what?
Oh, okay. Because the town, again, like I say, I'm very proud of how the town has progressed over the last 16 years. We've done so many things. Personally, like I said in my introductory remarks, I think the thing I'm most proud of is that I've been blessed with good health to be able to serve this community and be on 6 different committees for the town, as well as an alderman, and to be active in town and to try to go and support as many of the activities that go on. And I sometimes get choked up because I really love this town and want to be a part of it. And I want to try to use my skills, use whatever the Lord has blessed me with to try to make this a better place.
I think it's noble to see that genuine passion, and I think all of us running have that sincere passion. I think, and again, it's good to see. The quick answer, I guess, in terms of an accomplishment would be the community chest. Very proud of that, and I told you all about that. But Mary McKinney, many of you all know Miss McKinney, called me and she wanted to see the statues that were at one time on the visitor center back up on the wall of the visitor center. And again, if you know Miss Marion, that's just exactly the way she put it. I want to see them things back up there. And so yes, ma'am. And months went by, and we had to find them. One of the toes broke off. Something had broken off. They were in poor condition. Months went by. And Miss McKinney, again, in Marion McKinney fashion, now don't you let them people railroad you. We want to get them things back up. And I said, Miss Marion, I promise you, we'll get them things back. We'll get that statue back up there. And now, every time I drive along Boone Street, I see not only the statues back up there, but they've been fixed up, touched up. They're beautiful, and we even had a little ceremony to recognize that, to showcase again this beautiful history of interracial cooperation in Tennessee's oldest town. I think that's a wonderful accomplishment, and I'm really glad to see it.
I think my big success has been as a board member, as many people as I've helped along the way, from youth to old, to, whatever. I've helped a lot of people along the way, done a lot of favors for them, and as an alderman that probably they wouldn't have got done if they didn't know me. And I feel pretty proud about that. That's one thing I can say I've been successful for. And as far as a board member, you're successful as it takes a team effort to be successful. You don't always agree on issues, but you can make a lot of good things happen. If you just work together, understand each other, you're gonna have differences in opinions, but you work together and you try to work it out, and it shows that in the past Jonesboro's been pretty successful in past boards, president boards, where you work together, you do the good things for Jonesboro. You got to remember one thing: when you sit down there, you're sitting there for Jonesboro, not for yourself. And that goes a long way, when you're sitting there. If you're there for yourself and you don't last long, things just don't work out. So I've been very blessed to be successful in just being out in the community and taking a part. Like I said, the job pays zero. You gotta love Jonesboro. You gotta have passion for it. Like I said a while ago, I've been beat, won. I'm still here. Probably back, if I get beat this time, I'll probably back in 2 years from now. So, because I love Jonesboro, and I can take it either way. And, I just like people. I'm a people's person, you might see me talking or shooting the crap at anybody and having a good time. I'm everybody's friend. I like that. That's the way I was taught. And being a board member gives you a little bit of that, hands-on with people, and hearing what they got to say and all this kind of stuff. Well, it's been fun. I've had a good time. Thank you.
This is the last question, and it's fairly specific. And when we got it, it took me a little bit by surprise. I did not know this was as much of a concern as it seems to be. And the question is there a need to control growth along the 11E highway corridor through Jonesboro? Specifically, the question is, another gas station is proposed near the corner of Ben Gamble Road in an area where there are already 6 gas station operations.
Well, one of the committees I mentioned that I'm on is the Planning Commission. Chuck's on that too, and we have zoning in Jonesboro, residential zoning, different levels of business zoning, and those are established by ordinances. So the growth along 11E is controlled only by what it is allowed in the zone. In that specific instance that you're talking about, that is zoned for many things, and one of which is a gas station. And we as a town, if we disallowed that, we would be sued and we would lose, and we'd have to pay a lot of court costs, because we cannot tell someone what kind of a store they can put in if they buy the property and they make a proposal that fits the ordinances as they are written. So as far as growth along 11E, as I mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of growth and I'm sure we'll have more. It's controlled by how the different, how the zones are down there in terms of what you can put, but you can't tell somebody they can't build a certain type of store because if it fits the ordinance, if it fits the requirements, then they can do it.
I think Terry gives us, again, just the law. I mean, it's just the law, and and again, based on the ordinance, you have to comply. But I think that there is an issue. 30,000 cars a day go along 11E, and I know that the town is thoughtful, very, very mindful of the fact that there's heavy traffic along 11E. We have, I know, taken measures to try to reduce heavy speeding along 11E. I think that, when we get our red flex figures and whatnot, we've seen where, again, speed limits have, or speeding has gone down along 11E. But still, 30,000 cars a day are along 11E. So it's something that we do have to be mindful of. We do have to think about ways to handle that situation. And again, you need a board in place that's going to be thoughtful about such a situation and making sure that, again, that we don't have heavy traffic congestion along 11E. You need a board that's really going to be, again, deliberative in trying to think of a solution and work for, again, the good of the town.
So you talk about the gas station on 11, the one they're building?
Yes.
Is that what they?
Well, they
That
just
was-
started moving the dirt.
The movie, okay, that's what's going in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I see some dirt moving down there. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I know now. The subdivision there to the right there to the left one in the balance. Yeah, when you talk about gas stations or any kind of store or anything like that, I think before anything like that's done, there ought to be a public hearing that people live in the subdivision. Yeah. Ought to be able to come out and express their opinion about it if they want it or they whatever. So what I get when I'm out there running around is like, they wasn't informed. Next thing I know, Trico unloaded and dirt was getting pushed. They wondering what was going on. So when you talk about positive growth and fire treatment information, it wasn't there. So I think they have a big gripe. I think Jonesboro should do better in the coming times to inform people what's going in the front door. I think for it to be in my front door without any information. I know you have laws, but that's something that you don't do. That's wrong, and I'm for. When I see it, I'm thinking, where the world that come from? So now I know, and I think it should have been handled different. I would have handled it different. So I'm not in there. So I hope I get back in there so I can make things right and handle things different.
We've reached the point where it's time for summations. Terry Countermine, will you begin your final talk to this very appreciative audience and very lively? If you do it.
Well, again, thank you all for coming. I don't knock this microphone over. It's been a good exchange. We should all be proud that we live in a democracy where we have differences of opinion and we can listen to the candidates for the office. I can tell you, as I said earlier, from my heart that I have tried to do a good job and will continue to if reelected. It's an honor, really, to be a alderman and to listen to the people. I've learned more than I ever expected to learn in 16 years and had a lot of experiences that some were fun and some weren't. But I do believe in this town, and I believe that we can continue to make it better. And that I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Judge, Lisa, thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for this good forum this evening, and thank you all for coming out. It's always good to get out and talk about the issues and try to grow as an individual and grow in this area of public service. I have to tell you, this morning I was looking in the mirror and I couldn't help but chuckle a little bit. Right here in the middle of my head, I got a hair that's popping up. And I was just so excited about that. It let me know that there's a thing called hope. And I said, maybe there's really hope for me. And so for Tennessee's oldest town, regardless of what happens in this race, please remember there is a thing called hope. All right? We are stronger together. We are a community. Let's work together. All right? And so even though there might be differences of opinion after the election, please come back to us. Okay? 676-5547. If I am elected with your vote, is my telephone number. And I would love to talk to you. I'd love to hear about, again, the things that are wrong, and let's make them right. Okay? Let's do what we need to do. We are a community. All right? And so I'm very, very honored to be your alderman. I'm very honored to be a public servant. Really do care about, and we all do. We all care about Tennessee's oldest town. We want to see this town thrive. I thank you all very much.
Folks, thanks for coming out. Just whatever the outcome, we're gonna be okay. It's a great town, great people. 5 men here jockeying for a position. You can't beat it. Where else would you want to be? So just want to thank you guys for coming out. And I may not win, but one thing about it, if we vote on prettiest signs, I'll probably win that. I just say I got the prettiest signs. You can see that blue and gold out there, and I'm proud of them signs. And I've always said this. I thought about this today, and that truck of mine. I said, if that truck makes it another campaign, I'm gonna put that baby in the Hall of Fame. It's been going since 1996, hard as it can go. And I said, just give me one more year. Give me one more year. It may make it. I hope so. I got checked all tomorrow and try to make it around with it. If it makes it, all the credit goes to that truck. It's really all us around. We made some good. People's been really nice and respectable and they've been just real nice, and that's Jonesboro. I mean, when you're out walking around in a neighborhood, think about it. Where else would you walk around in a neighborhood? Someplace you better get out of a car. This is Jonesboro. It's this good you can get out in the neighborhood and walk around and talk to people. Some places you better not get out of your car. So we got bragging rights. We got bragging rights. This is a place to be, a place to live. This is a great town, and when you want to run as a board, it's as a politician or a public servant, whatever you want to call yourself. This is the job to have. It's better than anywhere else that you can serve. Right here. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for turning out tonight. As I sat there, I thought, gee, there are some people running for federal offices that I wish were in the audience tonight so they could see how to answer questions. I don't think you can go wrong for voting for any of these candidates. Now you've heard them. The next thing you need to do is get out and vote. Thank you all for coming. I'm sure the candidates will stay around and visit with you if there are more questions or clarifications that you're interested in. Thank you again for coming.